3 or 4 of the mornings, which are taken up with presented lectures, by putting those lectures online and giving us a bit more breathing space during the week. So it's not to shorten the course, it's to deepen it.
No, yes, no, I'm just making sure I'm on the front line. And so are you sort of seeing it, because the assessments are still due, the 2 script ones, later.
Yep.
Are you seeing it sort of as online and some online activities in the lead up to the intensive, then the intensive happens, and then this is sort of time for them to work on the assessment, so they still have the oral presentation happen and then the script report?
Yes, yeah. So those things, the assessment task would, even when we reconfigure this, happen after the event.
Yeah.
So what we'd be building into the 5 days is, perhaps some practice runs on the oral presentation and some more detailed workshops on the script report technique, which can feed into their capacity to write it at a later stage.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if we think of these as the weeks in the lead up. So it's week 6 that it occurs?
It's week 6, yeah.
Week 6?
Yeah.
And then this is due week 8?
Yeah.
And then at the end?
Yeah.
Okay. So are there, given there's different content that you touch in on, I think I've sort of done a summary here of just from, I pulled it out of your unit guide of just what happens in the
that's correct. That's pretty well correct. Yeah.
Is the natural split that you see in terms of covering this?
Yeah.
Are these sort of the natural topics that you'd want to spread across these?
I guess, look, these are the natural topics, and in a way they kind of have to go in that sequence.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just a theoretical overview, just to situate the whole notion of screenwriting in some sort of context, which then leads to the more technical discussions about the structure of a script, which is a whole sphere of study of its own, but we'd just give them an introduction to that, including an introduction to some of the classic screenwriting books that are available.
Yes.
What we don't do in these sections here is then give them practical exercises to deepen that knowledge, and in a way that this is the stuff that we want to put online, so we create space in there.
Space in the workshop.
In the workshop, yeah.
Would, in terms of sort of getting them engaged in these earlier weeks, it would be excellent to be considering some activities that they do to do with whatever is in these weeks that leads up to the intensive and the assessments.
Yes.
To sort of create community and engaging in these subjects. Otherwise, it could be a passive experience.
Yes. Well, look, I guess the thing that comes to mind immediately is that during the 5-day intensive as it currently sits, I get them to watch some films.
Yes.
Having had a bit of input on some of this technical stuff, so to start to look for the patterns that are there in the films. So we could do that earlier.
Yeah.
I think, and I think we could do some of these lectures we could do in earlier weeks.
Yes.
And we could get them to watch the films so that by the time we get to the intensive week, they've already got a grounding and we can do deeper level of work.
Yes.
So that'd be good. Yeah.
And are we talking films as in films?
Feature films, yeah.
And do they have to hunt them up on, their Netflix?
Well, look, the way that I've been doing them is that I just play them in class. So we've got an amazing DVD library down there.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And we just, I get the DVD out and put it on our classroom screen.
I think Canopy can clip movies.
Is it
into
Canopy?
the LMS.
Yes.
So as long as all the online activities happening inside the university's learning management system, you have a sort of a copyright shield that's different from if you are putting it up just on the VCA website.
Yes. So you meaning for the material we create here, or for the use of external?
It's really important. Yeah, if you want to incorporate material because you're analysing, but we understand if it's 100% behind the LMS or whether some of it has to be cleared.
see what you mean, yes.
Yeah.
Well, look, the way that I've been doing it is I go and get the DVD and I play it in class, which is a different thing from using clips of it on the LMS, which we could do.
Would you rather do you have to watch it in class? You're doing a stop and start viewing?
No.
Would it be better if they pre-watch that and then that frees up more time?
Kind of sounds like a natural activity that happens online, right? Watch the movie and participate.
And you could maybe select some key turning
points. The only thing is, I think there's something to be said for a communal watching of it.
Yeah.
How many do you watch though?
Just 2 during that week, and but what I would do is get them to watch 2 in advance, and then we'll do some more in class and do a DVD.
So that would be good because then it'll build certain skills that you're wanting them to focus on.
So I guess in advance the question is whether we have it online, and some of these films, for instance, that I've been pointing them to aren't on Canopy. So it's not. So Canopy's reasonably limited in terms of what it's got available in this sort of context, whereas our DVD library down there is just like it's better than Netflix. It's just incredible. So, and it's not easy to get things on Canopy for rights reasons.
I might have to do some more research for you about the how. If we're looking at somehow streaming a section.
So that's right. So certainly I would say all the films that I've shown or would want to show. Oh, sorry, one of them is on Canopy, but quite a few of the others aren't.
So some previewing. And how long are the films?
Oh, look, they're feature films, so they're 90 minutes.
Oh, so it's the full film.
Yeah. And again, to kind of, for people to absorb these ideas, they've got to watch the whole film as a unit, not bits and pieces of it, or we can come back to bits and pieces, but you've got to see the whole shape. Yeah.
So the previewing of films, in terms of how that integrates, that sort of links to the various things that you're doing in the intensive in terms of film analysis.
That's correct. Yeah.
And then later this is where they're giving a presentation where they're sort of critiquing.
They're critiquing. The oral presentation is a critique of a script that we give them, which is a short film script.
Yes.
So, during the intensive we give them an introduction to the language of critique, of film critique, as it applies to producing, so that it always revolves around that notion. So yes, it's their analysis, verbal analysis to the class of a short film.
Yes.
The script reports are their written analysis of a feature-length film.
Yes.
Yeah. All of which comes out of the kind of critical language we kind of give them during these sessions.
Yeah.
Do you have any exercises where they're looking at scripts and they can see the evolution of the feedback?
No,
that would be great, but I know a lot of that's confidential from but I'm just wondering, how it changes so much, from start to production.
Emulation of real feedback.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Look, we do emulation of real feedback. We get them to do it.
Yes.
To the screenwriting students who come in for a half day and pitch their ideas.
Could you use some of those previous ones and get rid of the identity of the and use them as...
The problem is with that feedback that's given, it's all verbal. And the scripts that are pitched by the screenwriting students are their scripts that they wrote in that year.
Yeah.
And it's all predicated on those writers pitching it in that context. So in the following year, it's a new group of writers, a new group of scripts.
Just wondering if it would be good to see.
But I think we could do a progressive analysis of a feature script. This would be a great thing to get into that week.
That's a good scaffold for them to
and we could do that. There are so many scripts available on kind of online portals, which completed scripts and drafts, etc., that you could pull out.
Yes.
And to do that sort of exercise would be great. I think. Yeah.
Because I suppose the question that came to me when I was looking at the current structure was,